Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another podcast of C&E. My name is David Caduto, and I am with one of the members of C&E, and your name is, sir?
Skylar Barty.
And Skylar and I actually went to go see Civil War. We're talking about Captain America Civil War, and I should say this is actually the Spoilercast, so if you have not seen the movie, you can turn it off now. Okay, that was your chance. Okay, so everything from here on in is going to be all spoilers. So, Skylar, tell me when you saw the film.
I saw it last night at 7. I came out of it. It was good, I like that I got to see it a little bit early. There wasn't as many people in there, so it was a nice experience. Though I will say this, the audience that I did have was very I like going to midnight showings because you usually get audience that really care about these films, and so what'll end up happening is you get people cheering and hollering for every little thing, right. And even during some of the the trailers that we got to see Rogue One again. Rogue One going off, everyone started cheering. Yeah. Frickin' Doctor Strange got off, everyone started cheering.
Okay, so did you see the Independence Day trailer then?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, so I've always wondered that, and maybe that's a podcast for another time. I've always wondered if the same movie has the same trailers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so the same movie has the same trailers. I think up to a certain point. So the trailers change depending on I want to say after weeks or something like that. So it'll be the same trailers, and then maybe in a month it'll change. And that's hit or miss. That's completely dependent on the movie, because sometimes the movie itself is changed. So or some of the movies that they trailer for are already out. Shallows comes out pretty soon. Tarzan's not going to be out by the time this movie is
right, July,
theaters.
and that was something else. I noticed there was a lot of movies coming out in early July. We have a
very packed summer.
So if you'd like to listen to, we actually did a Blockbuster podcast a few weeks ago. If you'd like to listen to that, you can go to SoundCloud, www.soundcloud.com / and when you go there, you can search my name, David, David, Caduto, Caduto, and you'll find all of C&E's podcasts on there. If you're looking us up on Facebook, it's www.facebook.com / CNE, all capital letters, 4COC. So we're posting exciting new content. As a matter of fact, I just put up a pre and post video about Civil War. But we're putting stuff up there on a daily basis.
I just want to point out, you can really tell your age because you keep saying backslash.
Yes, and
we don't say backslash anymore because who uses /?
Exactly. He's right about that. But okay, so getting back to the Civil War, so you went to a midnight showing, and
midnight.
You enjoyed it though. So
yeah, no, it was.
Was there a lot of people in your theater?
The top, so where we have a bottom pit for our theater, and then the entire top pit was pretty much full, and then there were some people in the bottom pit. It wasn't every seat wasn't filled. So
we're talking 65-70%?
No, I'm talking 90%. No, I'm saying most of the theater was filled, but there were seats open. It wasn't a packed show, But it was it was a very full show, and I think that some of the other shows, I think it was just because it was 7 and other people, people are still getting out of work. It's Thursday night. I think more people went to some of the later shows. There was bigger lines for that. The theater let in the 7:30 IMAX first because they got special tickets that were really cool. I kind of wish I didn't know that, and as much as I don't like IMAX, I kind of would have gone for those tickets. They're really cool.
Well, I guess you get to go back a couple other times.
Well, I think it was just for the midnight. Yeah, they were giving those out. Yeah, but otherwise, so getting into the actual spoiler, the movie was really good. It was a movie that definitely ranks up there in some of the top Marvel movies, and it's a movie that may or may not take the place of should have been Avengers 2.
So you were saying earlier that This is like a top 5 movie for you.
Yeah, no, this is for top 5 of Marvel movies.
For Marvel movies,
It doesn't
is what
break
I
into my
meant.
top 5.
Yeah, no, of course not.
But like
for
for Marvel, so the top 4 are always pretty much going to stay the same. I mean, maybe Doctor Strange breaks that, but I don't see it doing it. And those are Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Avengers 1, Guardians of the Galaxy. Those are the 4 best Marvel movies, hands down. And then you have this guy who kind of like, taking 5th place could have been like Iron Man 3, Thor 1, Ant-Man. Like, these are good movies. Captain America 1.
Solid.
These are good movies. But Civil War trumps all of them and really just does a better job at selling the characters, at bringing together this diverse cast and giving them the attention that they need, and not like overshadowing anyone too much, but also gives credence to the main characters, which is Captain America, Bucky Barnes, and Iron Man. And so I have my complaints with it, but overall it was a very solid movie, and I do like it.
Yeah, now, getting back to what you were saying about 90% capacity, I went this morning, and it was a 10 o'clock show, I think, and there was maybe
you don't get the same like nerd camaraderie.
So it was, which is nice, So it was like, okay, well, I can, not enjoy this because I usually do, but it's like, it was interesting, and there was no lines. It was, so I just walked right in.
The same like nerd camaraderie.
Exactly. So, but no, for me, I gotta say that it's the TRT of this. The total running time is 2 hours and 26 minutes, and I'll be honest,
seemed that long.
It didn't seem that long,
if not longer. Honestly,
there were longer movies that have come out, in the past couple of years, and it just didn't seem like it was like. I'll give you a perfect example: Batman and Superman. Batman and Superman was a 2.5-hour movie, and it seemed that long. Like,
not longer, honestly.
So, but this was like, even when they get to that third act, and they get in, Siberia and that whole, it didn't seem that long. And so
I want to say this. So I think, and let's get to this point, which is what the weakest part of the film is the third act. Yeah. And it's not that it's a bad third act. It's still a pretty solid third act, especially with the emotional gravitas that they put in between Tony and Iron Man and Captain America, showing that Tony knew how his parents died. Cap knew how Tony's parents died. That emotional weight and being like, it doesn't change. It doesn't change that you can't bring him back. And he's just like, I don't care. He killed my family. That emotional weight, doesn't relent. And I think that's what this movie does very well, is that it is a very emotionally high movie, and it really plays on those emotions. It really plays between that idea of your friends versus your enemies. Who are they, and even I keep wanting to call him Baron Zemo because that's what he's called in the comic books, Count Zemo. Or Lieutenant Zemo, I think Lieutenant Zemo. He wants to topple the Empire from the inside out, and he I won't say he completely does it, but he very much puts a knife in the Avengers,
Yeah, absolutely. He puts him right down the middle, and I mean, as even as the movie progressed, I mean, you could see the gravity between, even when the Secretary of State was showing the different things of New York and Washington and all these different Sokovia.
Okay, that's enough. Captain, people are afraid.
As it progressed, they were both recruiting, so it was like, okay, and then, it was one of those movies where you couldn't feel, but it was just, you were wondering which side they were going to go with. And but I think what you were saying earlier off air is the two people that really stole the show, and I have to agree with you wholeheartedly, was Black Panther and Spider-Man.
Yeah, some of the newer characters, honestly, Vision was really good. Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch was really good. T'Challa and Peter Parker were fantastic. Paul Rudd's Ant-Man was really good.
Everybody, and even in the fight, they all had their own little,
Yeah.
not nuances, but they all had their own little thing.
They had their place.
Exactly. It's just, there's not supposed to be this much talking when we're fighting, type of thing. It's just like, okay.
I don't know if you've been in a fight before, but there's usually not this
Yeah,
much talking.
like it's just one of the.
He had Spider-Man has some of the best lines.
Yeah.
You
Well, the writing here was really good. And
the writing was honestly the best part.
Well,
of this
see,
movie.
and
the character interaction, right?
Absolutely, yes, definitely. I mean, even the scene where Tony Stark ends up going to Peter's house and he's sitting talking with Aunt May, and he says, well, I was part of the team, so he gets inside and first thing he does, he spits out the walnut bread. He's like, that was some of the better walnut bread I've ever had. He's like, and then he starts talking with them. So, but it's just one of those things where he gets it. Yeah, it was really cool how that whole thing took place. I'm curious to see how they're going to really do a good job with Homecoming now. So it's
Homecoming and Black Panther. It'll be cool to see how they can follow this up. It does very much lay the groundwork for those two movies. Now that Peter Parker, which I like that it's a Tony Stark designed costume. Yeah. I find that really cool. With T'Challa having an entire suit of vibranium, it's also really cool. I don't know who they got to play him, but whoever the actor,
Chadwick. Okay, go ahead and I'll find out.
But yeah, no, he's a very good actor, and he really sells that role. And it was Black Panther's a character that people know about, but I don't think they ever know who he is. They know the name Black Panther, but who is this guy? Why is he here? What is his weight in the Avengers? And yada yada yada. And I think he really did a good job of selling how cool of a character Black Panther is. One thing I will say, and it kind of bugged me about the movie, is I understand Bucky and Cap being able to run with cars on that highway, but he shouldn't have been able. Black Panther shouldn't have been able to. Right. So that was a moment that I was just like, that's a little weird.
If you're able to, Chadwick Boseman. Yeah. If you're able to suspend reality just a little bit, I mean, yeah. Speaking of Black Panther and Spider-Man, let's talk about the cutscenes at the end. Okay. So we had 2 cutscenes for everybody that has seen it. We had the first one, which was for Black Panther, which was
for Black Panther. You got to see Wakanda. We got to go into Wakanda, which is for anyone who's not a fan of the comics, Wakanda is a jungle country. It is protected by the Black Panther, who is basically the embodiment warrior of their people. And it was a cool
This has happened over generations.
Yeah. So each Black Panther gives it and trains the next one, and it passes on. T'Challa, normally he wouldn't have had to become a king until much later in his life. But with his father T'Chaka dying, he becomes it much earlier. So now he is both king and Black Panther at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah. And so we get to see his land, and the Winter Soldier is now going back into a deep freeze. And so this is, he feels like this is the best for everybody because he's still under the control of Hydra. Yeah. So in the first 5 minutes, we get to see how that whole sequence goes,
Which Hydra, so for anyone who hasn't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hydra's still around.
Yeah.
It's around, quotation marks. It's being run by a Inhuman called Hive, but it still exists, and it's annoying.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. And then the second, I saw the first cutscene. I went, okay, this is great. And then, of course, I went, oh, okay, I'm going to leave. And so, stupid me, I didn't realize there was going to be another cutscene. Well, this cutscene
for Spider-Man
Homecoming, which is coming out in 2017. And this is, so getting back to it, Tony Stark, it goes into the room to try and recruit Peter Parker. And that was pretty funny how he's, he finds the costume and whatnot. But so he finds the web, which is designed. And so he gives him this web cartridge, or so he thinks it's a web cartridge, and so this is basically a signal. It's not so he basically shoots it, from what I understand. I haven't seen it, so help me. So I guess he shoots it, and it's supposed to be like the old comic signal
web
of
shooters.
Spider-Man. So
yeah. It's web shooters. It's well, no, Peter develops the web shooter. It's his ceiling. No, it looks more like a it looks more like a system that's designed to help him figure out what's going on with crime in the city, rather than but it looks like almost like an app where he's able to put it on like a wall or something like that, and then it's
so getting back to what we were saying. So basically so he gives him the web shooter, and and then it was basically
Peter develops the web shooter.
Right. He develops the web shooter, and then so Tony at the end of the movie gives him this signal, and it's like a comic bookish signal that he shoots out, and it goes on his thing, and so it's ceiling. So
but yeah, so he throws it up onto the wall, and it shows like a bunch of apps, and it looks like his own personal like Spider-Man like crime fighting thing. Like it's designed specifically for him from Tony Stark. So
so that's going to be a fascinating movie. So do we know who the villain's going to be? I mean, I've heard the Vulture. Okay.
Vulture is I want to say that's confirmed, but like that's the current rumor going on right now. If it is confirmed, then it'll be interesting because we have never gotten the Vulture on the screen before, so it'll be cool. I don't think many people know who Vulture is. I just don't think that's Vulture is as
popular.
I wouldn't. No, popular is not the thing that I'm looking for. Like, he's not as threatening as some of the other.
Right. I think if you're gonna rate all of the Spider-Man villains, I think Venom probably is the most threatening out of the bunch, at least for me. I mean,
I would argue that.
I mean,
sure, but
it depends. I mean, it depends on who you talk to.
In terms of most threatening, I would honestly say it's Carnage.
Yes,
which we have not gotten a Carnage.
Yeah.
And I'd love a symbiote movie.
Yeah. Well, I personally going back to Spider-Man 3, I thought what they could have done with that whole Venom thing was they could have
add Sandman.
Yeah. Well, I thought they could have killed the Sandman off, and in all honesty, I thought they could have in the last 15 minutes had Brock become Venom, and then had him become a fourth, and have done a fourth Spider-Man. But the problem with that is, if one wasn't going to come back, all three weren't going to come back. Yeah. And so I think that's where the whole, thing. And I think at that point they were just getting so tired with it. It was just like, okay, we're just going to throw it up, and it still made money. But so it was a terrible movie, but nonetheless. So getting back to Civil War, so it basically Spider-Man was one of the better characters. I think we both agree on that. So.
Yeah, no, it's like the entire cast was really good. There was no like truly weak person in the cast, but there's a part where I feel that Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and even Black Widow, they were kind of some of the weaker parts. Vision was kind of weak this time around, not because he wasn't interesting and he didn't have cool lines, but they very much reserved him because he is incredibly effing powerful. And I think they forgot to get rid of him for a bit because him and Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, are powerhouses. They can do so much damage and
Well, do you think we're ever going to see? I mean, so let me ask you a question. Which stone does he have on the top of his forehead?
He has the life gem.
Okay.
He has life. Life off. It gave him life. It's kind of funny. And that's what it is. And the life gem itself has the power to give life.
Okay.
That's it. Has the power to give and take life.
Okay.
So he is essentially the walking avatar of the life cycle.
Okay.
And so if he wanted to, he could tap into that gem and just kill all of Earth. That is, he can kill half the galaxy if he wants to. Like, that is the power of the life gem.
That's crazy.
It's interesting, and it'll be cool to see what he does with it.
Yeah, so I mean, because, as we both know that, in 2018 we have part 1 of Infinity Wars coming up.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a fascinating, because Thanos has 3 gems now?
Thanos has no gems right now.
Oh, he does. Oh, so he only has the glove.
He has the gauntlet right now.
Oh, he has the gauntlet. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that his impression he had? That's right. The Guardians have 1.
Yeah. No. The Guardians don't have any. The Guardians gave.
So where are the gems? Just in a
so,
quick rundown. Where are the gems right now?
So Loki's staff is with Vision. With Power, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy one. Or is it Real? I don't know if they're... No, Reality was the one that came from Thor 2. But Power is with the Nova Corps in Guardians of the Galaxy. Reality is under the protection of Asgard right now. And that's what happened at the end of Thor 2. So I think there's one more that's been shown.
Yeah, so we'll find out. But
the Tesseract.
Yes.
The Tesseract is.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is right now.
No, it's back on Asgard, I believe. I could be wrong about that. But
yes. So the reality gem and the Tesseract are both on Asgard.
Yeah. So I think besides those 2 characters that really made the movie, I think that everybody played a part in this, obviously, and I think that it was so well constructed that I think the Russo brothers, now that they have this hit with Civil War, they're going to
Infinity Wars, which we're getting new titles from, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. We learned that today. We're getting brand new titles for Infinity Wars.
Yeah. I think it'll just be Infinity Wars and then title and then Infinity Wars title.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be called Avengers.
No.
Anymore. But that being said, this is what Avengers 2 should have been.
Yes.
Everybody's
calling this Avengers 2.5.
Yeah, and granted, it is a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot more Captain America than any other character in this, and it's very much his story. But it's like Avengers 2 was very much it was light.
Yeah.
It was very light. It had no weight to it. The
No.
character moments were good, but there was no weight for every one of the characters. This movie, there was a lot of weight for the characters.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Thor and Hulk were in here because I think that they are too powerful. Put anyone put freaking Clint Barton against Thor. Clint Barton loses every time.
Yeah.
Same with Black Widow.
Yeah.
But with the characters that they had, even Vision and Wanda are a little too powerful.
Yeah.
But it made sense in the context.
Right.
So giving them all these character interactions. And one of my favorite lines is between Hawkeye and Black Widow, which is we're still friends after this, right?
Well, it depends on how hard you hit me.
Yeah, it's that funny moment, but it shows that even though all this is happening, it's a differing of ideas. And I think that's what ties it to the original comic book more than anything.
Well, I think it was funny because I think everybody had their own little funny sequence during the fight. Well, Ant-Man gets into Tony's armor, and he says, I'm sorry, you this is all dysfunctioning. You've got the Hawkeye and Black Widow, then you've got Spider-Man.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude.
Type of thing. So everybody had their own moment. Even Falcon, I thought he had some really cool. He had a
still
drone.
don't like you, yeah.
And it's just wow.
There was a lot of good stuff from the writing. I think, that scene itself really sells the movie. But I think what really takes this movie to that degree is that differing of ideas.
Yes.
How can that idea of, well, what if we just become a tool rather than what if we just do what's right?
Right.
And, Captain America has done a very good job of selling these movies that have a very good theme behind them. And I think that it did a very good job of the writing on that part. As much as Zemo was not the best villain, I do like that he caused more damage as a bad villain than Loki almost ever did to the actual team.
Absolutely.
You know, like, what did Loki do? He actually gathered them together.
Well,
you
as
know?
you said, he nearly destroyed them from the inside out.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. And here's a guy who is nothing more than a special ops soldier. You know, we've had freaking God of Mischief.
Yeah.
We've had them fight Ultron, the super robot. You know, they fought Christopher Eccleston's dark elf leader. Like, here are people that have fought like some of the greatest villains of all time. Like, even Winter Soldier is more terrifying than Zemo.
Yeah.
You know, and yet he has caused more damage than almost anyone, minus maybe Mandarin.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think in that regard, he should go down as a very good villain, and he's still alive.
Yes. And that's going to be a fascinating thing to see going forward because where does he fit in the grand scheme of things?
I think not in the movies. I think if they add him on, I think he's a very good villain to either go against the Defenders or the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, so you think he might go to television then?
I think so. I mean, a lot of them did. Sitwell did.
Okay.
Obviously, Agent Coulson, that's his show. So
speaking of that, not to cut you off, speaking of that, there was actually nice to see that crossover between the television series and the movies with Agent Carter. And so, you know, you had Peggy, who is, you know, who was Agent Carter.
Was just like, that photo should have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like,
and so, you know,
that image should not be as crisp as it was.
You know, so you know, we see Captain carrying the casket, and so we finally see him sparks start to fly with his daughter and him.
Her niece.
Her niece. So it's that will be, you know.
Yeah.
And now she's, you know, this could be interesting going forward too, because now she's committed treason. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, she's given.
No, I think she'll be fine.
Well, we'll see.
No,
I mean,
I think because, like, at least from what it looks like with the director, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but her boss, who's played by Martin Freeman.
Yeah.
It looks like there's gonna be no repercussions.
Yeah. So
I think it was just we need this in here because.
Just to move the story along.
Not to move the story along, but to be like, to say like, hey, you should head low because this is basically treason. I think they did that because it's realistic, you know. But I don't think there will be any repercussions for her.
Okay.
Which, by the way, can we just like Falcon and Winter Soldier and Bucky's face after he kisses her, like best moment ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just the get
exactly.
some.
Yeah, right on. No, that was classic. So I mean, it's good to see that they've actually incorporated some of the television with the movies, and it's.
I want to see more of that. You know, I want to see Daredevil. Okay, I don't want to see Daredevil, but I want to see Jessica Jones and Luke Cage because they're like she knows Captain America in the comics.
We have the Defenders coming.
We do have the Defenders coming with Iron Fist. I think we're getting an Iron Fist TV show, and then we're getting Defenders. Yeah. Which is good because I think
nobody knows them.
Everyone knows Daredevil. No one knew Jessica Jones. No one knew Luke Cage. No one knows Iron Fist.
Yeah.
You know, and Iron Fist is badass.
Yeah.
So no, I'm excited to see Marvel. Like I said, we've talked about this for Batman versus Superman. Marvel just has a better cinematic experience right now.
Yeah, they do.
They're able to interconnect everything in such a way that you want to absorb everything from the TV shows to the movies. All of it is so interconnected, and it feels like a living world, and it's done so well.
Well, I think and help me out with his last name, the president of Marvel, Kevin.
He's not the president. He's the executive producer of all the Marvel films. And it's Kevin Feige.
If he leaves. When the day comes, I mean, I don't think he's going to.
I think he leaves when this is over.
They are going to just basically. I mean, they're going to be on their own 2 feet, but at the same time, he is the motor in the car.
Yes,
and
Kevin Feige is. I think that he as much as I like what Marvel does, I think that they're very safe.
Yes,
I think they don't very much like Avengers 2. Avengers 2 was a very safe movie, and that's why it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
And I think that if they allow a little bit more leeway, allowed a little bit more creativity and a little bit more risk in their movies, I think you have amazing talent who can really just sell that to the audience. And like going forward to looking at Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. Everything
he looks
from
the part too. I mean,
yeah,
he's that young.
yeah.
He's what, 18, 19 years old. So
I think he's actually like 20 or something.
Yeah. Okay. So he looks the part though.
Yeah. No, he looks very young, but he has the quick wit. He's very smart. Like everything about him was very sporadic when he was in the costume, and it'll be, you have a good Spider-Man. I think the worst part is the Aunt May, because she's not older.
Yeah,
but
right.
like,
I mean, yeah.
And I like how
agree.
they're throwing into the like, you got a hot hat,
Yeah.
that's funny, but
Yeah.
it's, we have a good Spider-Man. Let him live. Let him off on his own, and really let him not
discover
take
himself.
some risks.
Yeah, discover himself. So I mean, I think that it's one of those things where I think that they have a chance.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that they definitely have a chance here to blow this whole thing up as far as
No.
So with him, I would be curious to see. Okay, so looking forward, we have what? So Spider-Man is next, right? Or
No. Next is Doctor Strange.
Okay, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, then then is it Guardians 2?
Guardians 2, and then Spider-Man.
Then Spider-Man,
so
yeah.
we know that Doctor Strange is not going to be in this universe. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
Well, as far as Avengers type.
Yeah, no, he is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, no. Doctor Strange is incredibly important.
Okay, so
like Doctor Strange is he's what's known as the Sorcerer Supreme. He controls all magic on Earth.
Okay.
And has very much interacted with Tony Stark, Captain America, has interacted with all these characters. He's incredibly important.
Okay.
Especially considered that he's one of the few people that can actually, from Earth, deal with cosmic forces. Like, he himself is more powerful than Wanda Maximoff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, if you think Scarlet Witch and Vision are powerful, you're funny. Wait for Doctor Strange.
That's going to be interesting.
It'll be because he can warp reality. Like,
yeah,
that's
no,
it.
I mean, and we see this in the trailer with
yeah, like there's so in the top, like there's a top 20s list of most powerful members of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Number 6 or 5 is the character Cyttorak. And Cyttorak exists as his own universe and all this stuff. And he's very much known for giving characters like Silver Surfer, giving characters like Dormammu, Juggernaut, powers.
Oh,
he's a character that has given these characters mutant and or magic powers.
Oh, wow.
All right? Doctor Strange can go toe-to-toe with this guy. And like outside of his own universe, Cyttorak is about as powerful as Doctor Strange.
Wow.
Inside his universe, Cyttorak wins the day, like every day.
That's interesting.
But Doctor Strange is incredibly powerful, and it'll be cool to see. And it looks like it is a little bit more ambitious than a lot of titles. And I want it to be ambitious, and I want Marvel to be a little bit more ambitious with their titles. With Avengers, sure, be a little lax. With Guardians of the Galaxy 2, be a little lax.
It's because I think the thing is too, it's more of an ensemble. I mean, so you've got 5, 6, 8, 10 people. So a little, it can be, they can play off one another.
We had 12 people in this movie.
Yeah, 12 people. Okay. For the next couple of movies, the Black Panther movie, the Spider-Man Homecoming, we're gonna have, we're gonna have a lot of
Thor Ragnarok.
Thor too. A lot of not origin story, but independent type. So you're gonna have one star type of thing.
Yeah,
and I think
so it's already confirmed Tony Stark is in Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm fairly certain Captain America or Winter Soldier will be into Black Panthers. Guardians of the Galaxy, we're getting the full 7-member Guardians team. So I think it's going to be a single character thing, but with other characters there.
Right.
Right. I'm just waiting to see who touches, and that sounded wrong, but who taps Doctor Strange first.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
okay.
I'm just going to go with this. Favorite part of the movie? Go.
Oh wow, that's tough. I mean, there's a few. I mean,
So, let me rephrase. Favorite moment of the movie?
I think I have two. I think when Spidey finally comes in, and the first time you see Black Panther. I mean, the first time you actually see him in the suit.
Yeah.
And, like, you finally get to see Black Panther for who he is. I mean, you see him at the UN and everything else, but once he finally, he has a conversation with Black Widow, and then he's like, I'm going to go kill him myself. And then you see this guy. Who is this guy? Well, we'll find out here in a minute. And then Spider-Man coming in. I think those are the two moments for me because, you always hear about Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. But for him coming in, it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me, like I was saying to you off air, that how they could cut a trailer, like you see him come in, under ruse, and then you see him, and it's funny because that's not, hey guys, is not the first thing you see. That's like 20 seconds later, he starts a couple lines of dialogue. Oh, hey guys, so it's like, okay, but no, I think those are the two for me. What about you?
For me, I'm going to go with two then as well, which is I very much like the Black Panther's first scene where he's in the suit.
Yeah.
I very much agree that is probably one of the best moments in the film. And then but yeah, it's very much
Black Panther.
So Black Panther is very much it's very much one of the best moments of the film. He himself is one of the better characters. I wasn't expecting him to have as big of a role as he did.
Yeah.
And I'm very much happy with it. The second is actually the final actual fight between Tony, Bucky and Iron Cap.
Yeah.
It was so well done. The choreography was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was gritty, but it was elegant.
Yeah.
And there was moments where it was desperate struggle.
Yeah.
And
you could feel it was a desperate struggle.
And then, but the choreography of it was also incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
And so overall, amazing fight, and I do like that they added in one thing from the comics, which is that Tony Stark actually has analyzed all of Captain America's moves.
Yeah,
since ever. And this is in the comics.
Yeah.
Like, in the comics, he analyzed all of Tony Stark's moves forever, so he can predict what the next punch is going to be. And then they do that in the movie.
So he says find some weaknesses.
No, he's just like analyze fight pattern. And then once the fight pattern came in, it's just like, okay, now I got you.
Countermeasures. And then so he goes after. I thought, but no, like I agree with you. Like how they flipped the shield from one to the other. That was like wow, and they actually were able to do this.
Stay down. Final warning.
I could do this all day.
I thought the twist was great, which we spoke about. And number two, like I thought Tony died. I mean, not having read the comic books and everything else, when he stuck the shield into Tony and to Iron Man, I went, when he's struggling, I'm like, I thought he was gonna die.
No, I thought they were going to kill. I thought that Captain America was going to die. I thought it was going to be Captain America to die. Tony accidentally tries to go to kill Bucky, and Cap sacrifices himself, and then it just snaps Tony out of it, And I think that it was. I would have liked for a bigger emotional climax. I would have liked for a major character death. I think the letter at the end was very much needed. The almost death of Rhodey War Machine was all right. I don't think it had as much weight as it I think that if it would been I think it was important for Iron Man, but I think for the audience it wasn't as important, So I think killing off one of those three would have been a height emotionally. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, but I think that's all. Yeah, I agree with you. So, but this is gonna, I think it's probably gonna do between 170 to 200 million, which it should.
I think 250 is solid. I think honestly, I had a lot of friends who saw BVS, and I had more friends who saw this, and I honestly think that this will do better.
Well, 2/3, I read this a while back, that 2/3 of the people that went to see this in the theater will probably go back and see it in the theater again, and I don't doubt that. I probably will as well, just because
I won't see it in theater
the first
again, but I'll
time,
watch it again.
Yeah, the first time I wanted to go in there and just absorb the material, and now this time it's more of, okay, I get to enjoy it type of thing. So, okie dokie. I want to thank Skylar for being here. So like I said, if you want to check out more of our podcasts, go to SoundCloud. We're on Twitter as well, and we're on Facebook.
Yeah, just
so
look up CNE.
Yep,
CNE
CNE
for
for COC.
Yep.
So for Skylar Barley, I'm David Caduto, and you've been listening to CNE. Take care, guys. Guys.